No way, are we finally here? Hey guys, as you can see, this place is looking a little bit different. That's because we are making a brief stop in Japan. We've made it just in time for spring, so I hope the atmosphere feels a little bit more refreshing than usual. Let's see what this new region has to offer. For every new location we go to, I want the character to learn how to use a new cooking tool. So in China, we learned how to use a sword. Now that we're in Japan, I thought, what kind of weapon should the player learn how to use next? First I thought, what type of tea is Japan known for? And of course, green tea and matcha came to mind first, where matcha is the powdered version of green tea. Hojicha is also another popular tea, which uses a powdered ingredient as well. So after this, I knew that I wanted to create a tool that could help players powder ingredients. The way that matcha is powdered is by grounding dried green tea leaves with a stone mill. But the stone mill is huge, and because the way we cook in this game is through combat, it would be completely ridiculous to have Faye whip out a whole ass stone mill to powder ingredients. Originally I thought of making the tool a mortar because it's a common tool used to powder objects, but given its shape it's kind of hard to make look nice as a weapon. Then I thought, why am I being so literal with the design? None of the tools that I use in this game to cook are conventional. I'm already using a damn sword to peel nuts, so I thought why not use a hammer to smash and powder the ingredient, which is also a perfect weapon for combat. When designing the hammer, I thought about how I could make it look a little bit more fancier. I really like goldfish, like a lot, and I thought why not make the top part of the hammer shaped like a goldfish. I thought that it would make the tool look so cool that people would use the hammer more just because of how epic it looked. I tried some different versions with the fishtail and the fins and a full-fledged goldfish engulfing the hammer, but it looked a little too silly and slowly reading less like a hammer and more like a dead fish on a skewer. So I kept it simple and just went with a wooden hammer design. And I kept the color kind of neutral, very similar to the Japanese usu mortars which are used to make mochi. Within my art, I really like adding graphical lines to create texture in my pieces, but in pixel art, it is a little bit harder to add this detail in without looking like too much. But because the surface of the hammer is so large, I had enough room to add these large intricate swirls which conveys the grains of the wood. Since we're making a new tool, I wanted it to be a lot more different from the sword, which is currently an agile and swift weapon. Whereas for the hammer, I kind of want it to be the opposite, where it's a much more heavy hitter, but a lot slower. When Faye lifts up the hammer, he does it a lot slower to show how heavy the hammer is, and when he smashes the hammer down, it falls really fast because of all the weight being pulled down. On the hammer impact, I made Faye physically launch up to emphasize the sheer strength of the hammer and the whiplash of it. I also added this kind of cloud ring particle, which is like the dust being disturbed on the ground after the hammer had hit it. Since the hammer is very heavy and slow, it's not very good at fighting enemies close range because they can easily run away, but if you do land a hit on them, it is really strong and does a lot of damage. So it can be rewarding. However, the primary use of the hammer is to powder projectiles, and currently the enemy ingredients created so far are not made to be powdered. So let's make a new enemy to use this tool on. I want this green tea enemy to be the most identifiable enemy of the region. The reason why I want an encapsulating enemy is so that when players experience these regions, they can be like, oh yeah, I've been there because I remember those enemies that were affiliated with it. When designing the green tea enemy, I had this idea that the enemy would be inside of a chasen, which is a bamboo matcha whisk, and I wanted it to be like a vehicle that the enemy could move around in and also be shielded and protected by it. For the actual enemy, I wanted it to be a rabbit because in Japan they make these snow bunnies made out of snow, red berries and bamboo leaves. But of course I'm going to make it green tea leaves instead. This snow bunny is so cool because it has so many different ingredients to make it, like the red berries, and I could have totally made that another enemy that dropped red berries, but I want to keep this matcha enemy simple because it's the first enemy you verse in this region. When I finished drawing the draft, the bamboo whisk kind of became a cage and the bunny looked trapped and miserable inside. And I thought if this was an enemy you have to fight, it would be way too sad to fight it as it looks so timid and elicits too much sympathy. So I thought maybe the bunny is too soft and docile of an animal, so I tried another animal which was popular in Japan and it was a tanuki. But alas, it looks just as miserable as the bunny. So I went back to the bunny design because I think it has a lot of potential. I just need a way to make the matcha whisk work with the bunny and not against it, because that's what I think is making it look trapped. So I pushed the bunny out a bit more to make it look as if it was poking out of its home, instead of holding onto the bars for dear life, and that made a huge difference. Now it looks like the bunny and the matcha whisk is a whole cohesive unit that works symbiotically, like the matcha whisk is a home protecting the bunny rather than being trapped in it. So I'll take that as a win. When it came to the enemy's movement, I wanted them to hop around inside the matcha whisk, so I applied my animation fundamentals from university, where I learned how to make a simple ball bounce, which helped greatly in adding buoyancy to the matcha whisk. So to make that like hopping effect, every time the object encounters the ground, it suppresses and the physical material expands against the floor as it distributes its weight horizontally since it's being pushed vertically, and then it springs back up, and that's how I make the hopping effect. Since the animation is just in one spot, I want to see what it looks like with movement, so I chucked it into the game and tested it out. It really looks like the whisk is hopping, so I just kept putting it in and out of the game and adjusting the animation slightly till I was happy with the final result. When it came to making the bunny's weapon, I made it a green tea leaf branch. I'm very happy with this weapon because it's kind of reminiscent of those blessed bamboos that I've seen used in Kagura dances. To attack, the bunny does a big jump and swipes down the branch to form a gust of wind and green tea leaves. This is the first projectile the player will learn to use the hammer on, so I wanted to keep that in mind when designing it, and gave it a lot larger of a hitbox, allowing the player to have an easier time landing a hit with the hammer. This will help players build up skill and familiarity with the hammer tool. When creating the animation for the projectile, I wanted to have the green tea leaves blowing in the wind, but I wanted the motion to look a little bit more circular, as if the leaves were gravitating around an invisible wind orb. This just gives the leaves more direction and purpose than just having them simply blow in the wind. So I first drafted 3 different axes where the leaf would trail, and made some notes on the shift of speed that the leaves would move in depending on where they were on the axis. I used these different speed points to create variation in the leaf's movement, and all the leaves aren't going to be moving at the same speed and same time, because they're different shapes and different sizes, so they would have different speeds. And that variation just helps drive that point across. I then used these guidelines and then made the leaves toss and turn in different directions so that it felt like they were actually being pushed in the wind. Once I finished through the leaves, I looked back on the frames and there was actually like a bold spot during this time in the animation, so I added one more axis and leaf to make the animation feel more full and complete. And this is what it looks like when it's being shot out by the enemy. Now that we have the enemy, we can make some matcha green tea. This is my first time recording myself like actually playing the game in real time, so please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. Okay, whatever. Let's make matcha. Okay, start X. Okay, so I have 2 customers that have ordered matcha and green tea, and I'm going to have to make it. So let's try to destroy one of these green winds. They're really intimidating. Okay, got one. Okay, hit me with your best shot. Oh crap. I suck at this. Okay. Shoot again. Nice. Okay. Oh, I'm getting the hang of this. Okay, I'm actually kind of doing well. When I first used this hammer, I was so bad at it. But as you can see, it's kind of hard to get the timing perfect, but it's not bad. I am going to... I'm gonna cook now. Okay. Woo! Okay, let's quickly... Oh my god, why does one kettle have decorations and the other doesn't? Okay, let me get this green tea. Okay. Oh no, the golden one's nearly done! No! Okay, got it. Nice. Okay, and then I have to get the matcha. Okay. And I can serve the green tea. And I'm gonna serve the... This is so hectic. Oh my gosh, get out of the way. Okay. Now I can see their reactions. Yay, they like it. So that's how you make matcha. Kill these guys real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Oh wait, I can do this. And it one-shots them. Oh my god, it's really hard to hit the enemies with the hammer when they're moving, but when they're trapped here, it's easy. Bam, bam. Well, that was really fun. I didn't expect to do that, but I just decided to do it on a whim because I'm feeling pretty energetic today. Do you guys think I should become a streamer? That was actually really cathartic to film because it was really unserious and I was just freely saying whatever I felt like, whatever was on my mind. But that being said, let's go back to the script. I hope you guys like this video. It's a little bit different and I tried to cover less topics but spend more time going into depth about the process a bit more. I had a lot of fun making the new atmosphere for the Japanese region with the falling cherry blossoms, and I think it really changed the atmosphere quite a lot with just some simple changes. Japanese culture is extremely beautiful and I have so many ideas for possible new enemy types. In the next episode, I promise we will finally make some trial levels, but this was a very fun little video that I just wanted to showcase the future possibilities of this game with the different regions and the different cooking tools you could learn along the way. And yeah, that's about it. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys have any feedback or ideas for the game, let me know down in the comments and I'd love to hear what you have to say. For more future content, hit that subscribe button and make sure to ring that bell to get immediate updates related to everything Caddies Tea service. Thanks for watching, see you next time.